All right. Hello, everyone. It's nearing that time of year when you may be feeling some extra stress with the end of the year. And what naturally happens to us is we question our lives and kind of review what we've done or haven't done during the year, what's happened to us or hasn't happened to us or for us during the year. And also with the holiday time approaching, it's natural to feel some stress. So if this is you, stay tuned. I'm Kelly Myszkowski of Inner Light Transformational Coaching and Craniosacral Therapy, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, Caren, who would also like to introduce herself a little later in the video, Caren Cooper. And we are both coaches. We both work with people to unknot the knot in their stomach, to get off the hamster wheel, to get beyond some of the patterns that they find recurring in their lives that are stressing them out and holding them back from what they really want to have, from the healthy, happy, joyful life of contribution, and making their difference in the world and contributing to their family and finding balance in their lives in terms of their work and their personal lives as well. So, what I'd like to offer to you is that what I do and what I offer to my clients is to learn to tune into what they're feeling in the moment and how that's showing up in their bodies, and then eventually be able to get to the root of that programming and unwind and release that programming so that their bodies are then freer and healthier. They're no longer embodying, i.e., anchoring that limiting belief and limiting pattern that I call a body mindset, because our beliefs and our mindset are anchored in our physiology and in our physical being. I see Caren nodding her head there in agreement. And by releasing that, we can release our bodies to flow more freely and engage in the world and in our purpose more freely and more effectively and more optimally and in a healthy way that feels really good and feels really natural to us. So, what I'd like to offer is to just think about perhaps something that begins to stress you out, where you feel a little tension in your body, a tightness in your neck and shoulders, your stomach might feel a little upset. And just notice also what happens to your breathing as these issues come up, whether it's something at work or something in your personal life, in with your family, your extended family, your friends, life choices that you have to make coming up at the end of the year. I invite you to tune in and notice how your body is feeling. And I invite you to close your eyes when you do that so that you're not taking in information and stimulus from the outside world through your vision, but you can really focus on what you're feeling. And those areas are not coincidental. It has to do with how we're wired and how we're programmed and the functions that those areas that you're feeling the stress in, what they actually do for you in the world, which is a little bit complicated. But pay attention to where you're noticing it. And I invite you to just take some deep breaths and invite your breath into those areas. Invite your body to expand as you inhale and notice where it's not moving as you inhale and exhale, and invite more movement into those areas because it helps free those areas up. Now, when I have the time and opportunity with clients, and when I have the time and opportunity with myself, I go deeper into this. And I don't wait for the opportunity to just randomly show up. Living this lifestyle is my number one priority. So I make the time for this. And that's the only way that you're going to move forward, when you make the commitment to yourself as your number one and do what presents for you and what feels right for you to find what's needed to free yourself into living your full potential. So we would go a little bit deeper in being with that sensation, and that's living in your subconscious mind, all of that programming that's causing you to feel that stress, all of the beliefs that you have about the situation that are in opposition, not in harmony with who you truly are as a loving human being that loves unconditionally and without judgment. And by tuning into that area, we can go deeper and help you get an image, perhaps a picture of that area, because the subconscious loves to speak to you in images and pictures. And depending on what shows up for someone, then we can work with that image to allow it to reach a different state, a different presentation, if you will. It might be, say, it might present as a wilted flower. And so if the flower's wilted, then we would question, what do you need? And it may need water. So we imagine you giving it water, and this is all symbolic. And you may see that the flower restores itself, which tells you that the issue has shifted. So that's a little of how I work with guided imagery with people. We can ask different questions and allow the answers to come to us in terms of, what are you showing me? What do you want me to know? What do you need from me? What do you need to be free or let go? Sometimes people will envision their issues in like a balloon that they're holding on to, and all they need to do is let go of it. And then there can be a little bit of homework to work with that going forward on your own, to continue to visit that issue and see if that image is progressing or changing in some way. Or what I've found myself, I'll intentionally go back to revisit it, and I can't even conjure up the image anymore because I've moved past it. Now, what also happens is we'll find ourselves living the same patterns, the same issues keep coming up. And part of that I relate to, like, it's kind of like our soul's path. We're going to potentially revisit those issues, but we're doing it with a higher perspective. We've grown to a new level and we're seeing things from a different place. And that's okay. Then we still deal with them and we move on. We're a new person in a new vibration, meeting our lives in a new way. And we may come back to that again. I liken it to being on a spiral staircase where we're on a new step at a new level, coming back to that same center post, that same issue, but with a different perspective. And like peeling an onion layer by layer, we're getting back to the core, and there will be a new insight. And that's okay. You're doing the work. We're here being human. It's a process. It's not a one and done. It's not a quick fix. But my biggest tip is to take some deep breaths, because that will help alter the state of your nervous system. It will help alter your blood chemistry to where you feel better. And I know if you're looking for more information, you can go to my website, letyourinnerlightshine.com. And I have a lot of resources available there. You can sign up for my newsletter there. And within the body of my newsletter, there are links to other resources, including some free downloadables that I offer. All of my materials live on Member Vault, which you can access for free. But I also know that my friend and colleague here, Karen, who has been very supportive in sitting here as I share, also has some information for you and some tips and tools that she would like to share. So Karen, thank you for being here with me today and embarking with me on this collaborative opportunity to share with the world and support the world in these very difficult times. And take it away, my friend.
Well, thank you. I love that we're doing this. I love that we came together, and I love that we're helping each other and helping the masses in the process. And I have so much to say about what you said, but I love what you were saying about just breathing. There was really two things that I took away from what you said. Number one was about just really taking the breath and just breathing, and that it's continuous, because we're always healing. There's no ed at the end. There's an ing at the end. So you're always healing, and it is a work in progress, but it's a lifestyle. It's similarly like, I do also with health and wellness. It's a healthy lifestyle. It's a continuous process. It's a never ending process. And don't look at it like, oh my God, it's never ending. It's not that perspective. It's the perspective of, like Kelly was talking about, you peeling the onion and you're learning new things and you're shifting your perspective and you're becoming a higher and different version of yourself. So that was really, really interesting and very, very cool. So I'm Caren Cooper and I am a mindset coach. And so I help people on this, I take people on this journey of self-discovery, people who are overwhelmed and not generating the results they were looking for in their businesses. And they're just like, I'm stuck in my own way. So I take them on a journey of self-discovery to find out who they are and do all the inner fun work and become a higher, like Kelly was saying, become a higher version of yourself. But to the point of the higher version, I want to touch on that for just a minute before I get into the stress of the holidays and things like that. Because when you come, you're an old version of yourself, you're one version right now, and you're coming into these holidays, and maybe you're a different version than you were last year, right? So the holiday season is stressful and it can bring a lot of triggers on to people. We're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. So now it's, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's the holiday. And just like, if you have kids, what am I going to do with the kids? And just like a lot of questions and a lot of stressors and factors and just a lot of downloads, a lot of things coming at you. And so I'll discuss like things to do in that minute. But if you're a different version, so let's just go by the, like Kelly was talking about being a different version of yourself. When you're a different version of yourself and you don't necessarily recognize who you were, you still have to do all the things that we're talking about and create safety in your system and do the breath work and do all of those things, because like we talked about, it's a continuous process. So as you up level and as you become newer and growing and different people, you're still doing the work. That's why it's still continuous, because you were creating safety and breathing as 1.0 version. Now you're creating safety and breathing as 2.0 version. So I just wanted to caveat that. Now I'm going to get into talking about ways that you could help yourself with the stressors, with the what do you do and how do you deal with things and all of these kind of things. And so what I'm noticing a lot lately is the stressors mean we're disconnected to our bodies. Like that's really what's happening. All these things coming at us, and we are just not connected to our bodies in any way, shape, or form. And what that feels like, and you may be thinking, Caren, what the hell are you even talking about? Because I used to feel that way. So I totally get that you may be like, what the hell? So it's really when you're overwhelmed, you're completely overwhelmed, you're burnt out, and you're just running, running, running on the go, 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 go all the time, doing everything for everybody else, and you're basically in survival mode. You're basically, even though you're conscious, you're running unconsciously. And what I mean by that is that you ever go somewhere and you're in the car and you all of a sudden go to the destination and you have no idea how you got there. That's what I mean by running on unconscious. So that's how you're feeling. You're completely and totally just like day in and day out, just doing, and not taking a step back about anything. Okay. And by the end of the day, you're like, holy crap, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and just everything. So what do you do? So the body is, you're disconnected from your body. So I have a free download that I'm going to be offering people about how you connect to your body, ways to connect to your body. But I'm going to share with you some of that information right here, right now, today. So I want to discuss it. And I'm actually, full transparency, reading from the download that I'm going to be sharing with you. Okay. So that's why I'm looking down. Okay. But I just want you to understand, when I talk about the body controls everything you do, because the nervous system controls everything you do. So I think that's important to understand. And I want to say this: the body stores your trauma and emotional addictions cellularly until released and liberated. And Kelly talked about the flower and putting water on the flower and the flower blooming. That's the same thing. You don't realize that you're storing all of these emotional addictions. Like for my addiction was to the hard and the chaos, for example. So an emotional addiction could be, I'm addicted to the hard. Emotional addiction is the same as, a different type of addiction where you keep doing it and expecting, you just keep doing it because that's what you know. Okay. And it's all stored in the body. So that's what's happening. And the body is programmed for survival. And lastly, I want to say the body works outside of your awareness until you become aware. So Kelly even talked about it as well. So that's part of it, guys, is becoming aware that you're unconscious, aware of your stressors, aware of what's going on. And so you can't be in creation when you're in survival. Okay. You just can't. So what I want to say here is this. Um, you can reprogram, you can, I'm going to read this here. The body practices to reprogram the body and regulate the nervous system overall. So I want you to remember 80% of our thinking is driven by our body and our system. 80% of our thinking is driven by our body and system. Okay. So what do you do? So, okay, Caren, great talking about all of these things. I'm still feeling the stress. I'm still feeling all of these things. What are practices that I can do? Okay. And so I want you to understand, I'll give you a few of the practices that you can do. Kelly talked about breath work, and you're like, what is breath work? Okay. I'm going to give you what I do on a daily basis. Okay. I have alarms that go off throughout the day, breathing alarms that go off throughout the day. Um, I do it actually hourly now that I'm in a growth ascension right now, but you can do it 2 hours, doesn't matter, whatever you feel. But if you're really stressed out and going a little nuts with everything going on, I would suggest hourly have alarms that go off throughout your day, because what happens is the alarm will go off, and it's up to you to have the discipline to then stop and do the breath work. And the breath work is, you can Google breath work, okay? But I do alternate nostril breathing, where you hold one nostril, breathe in through one, hold the next, and breathe out through the other one. That's my favorite, but there's 4-7-8 box breathing. There are different breath work techniques that you could use, but every hour when those alarms go off, you do the breath work until you feel calm. Now, I also want to say this, as I'm saying this, listen, feel the feelings. I'm not saying not to feel the feelings. I'm not saying to not push through the feelings that are happening. Don't live there. And that's also where the awareness comes in. The awareness could be, I'm feeling stressed out right now. And listen to what your body is telling you. A lot of times it's just really about, your body needs to rest, and we push through and don't rest. So listen to what your body is telling you. And again, that's where the awareness comes in. Just take a pause, take a pause, and even say, what are you trying to tell me right now? A lot of times you'll just know what it's trying to tell you. Another way that you could connect to your body, my favorite, is dancing. Just saying, another favorite of mine is dancing. If you follow me on social media, which you should, because you need to follow me to get the free download. But anyway, I do dancing every Friday, Friday dance party. So dancing is a lot of fun as well. And meditation. Meditation is another good one. And then I'll give you one more, which is, I call it two more: screaming into your arm, just screaming in general, or a temper tantrum technique. A kid having a temper tantrum is really releasing all the things that they feel at the moment, all their emotions that they're feeling. And the same thing is for adults. We need to release all our emotions that we're feeling. So punching a pillow, or even just taking the pillow and thrashing it, is really good. However you want to throw a temper tantrum, throw a temper tantrum. I have a lot more. Again, those will be on my free download, but I think that's what's important, and how to connect to your body. And also, I just want to say another thing. Something else is that could help, just in terms of making another choice. Sometimes it's really just about making another choice. Regulating and connecting to your body is amazing, and sometimes it takes a while. By the way, sometimes you're so jacked up that you're not going to come down for a little while. Again, like Kelly's saying, it's not a quick fix. It's not just going to happen. When you're so jacked up, your body needs time to get back. But when you are in a regulated state, you can also see things from a hugely different perspective than you can when you're not in a regulated state. And I want to offer two other things, and then I will stop. Number one is something called I call it the perspective experiment. So imagine that you have a glass table, right? This is an imaginary thing, a glass table, and go underneath the glass table and just look at it from all different perspectives. So lay under the table, go to the front of the table and look at it, go to the side of the table and look at it, and you're basically looking at it from different perspectives. It's the same thing when you're jacked up, when you're regulated. And also, what am I getting jacked up about? What am I getting stressed out about? What's going on here that I'm getting stressed out? Is there a trigger? And then you can change your perspective on it. Oh, well, this is what this person said, and I gave it some meaning, and so therefore this is why I'm like that. Okay. And the other thing is I want to offer is something called the choice method. So the choice method is, you become aware of what's stressing you out, what's going on. okay? First you pause, you become aware, and then you say, what would she do? So what would my higher self do in this moment? Connect to that, because it could just be take a rest. It's the same thing listening to your body. And then you make that new choice. So it's again, perspective and choice, same thing. You're just changing it and making new ones rather than being on that hamster wheel, making the same choices and getting stressed out and getting triggered by what's going on around you. Because the deeper, and what I do in my program, Unschool Yourself, is we go deeper into our thoughts and we give it meaning and all the other things and why we're stressed out and the triggers and the traumas that are because of the triggers, because like I said earlier, everything is stored in your body cellularly. So the deeper work, like Kelly is talking about with her deeper work, the deeper work is my program that helps you release and get rid of all of that, rewire, reprogram, so you become a 2.0 version of yourself. So I'm going to stop talking because I feel like I just gave a lot of information. So if you have any questions, I just want to end by this, like, we upload these and whatnot. If you have any questions about anything, reach out. Neither Kelly nor I are going to be like, oh, but you have to join us, you have to work with us, or we're not coming from that space. If you want to have a call with us, I'm not even going to call it a discovery call. If you just want to reach out and be like, I have questions, I've been watching your videos, I just want to talk to you about it, get a better understanding, about what we do. Absolutely. We're both open. I know I'm going to speak for her about this, but I know we both are open to having those discussions, having those conversations, and just really putting out there. And we really just about serving and helping you guys. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm going to end now.
Thank you, Caren. That was amazing. And it was a good reminder for me too. There's so many nuances to this. There's so many approaches. I think people have to find something that works for them and a person to guide them through it that resonates with them. And I totally am glad that you spoke for me, that yes, reach out with questions. I am more than happy to have a pitch-free conversation. I personally don't like being sold to in a hard sell way, especially. And um, I need time to make my decisions and my choices and what's right for me. And I want to allow people that are looking for help to come to those same conclusions themselves and help them find what's right for them, whether it's working with Caren or working with myself or working with somebody else or not working with anybody. I'm willing to answer simple questions and clarify things as well. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your time and attention. We welcome your comments. We welcome your questions and look forward to connecting with you again soon. Remember to let your inner light shine. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.